My name is Sven Hosford, and I'm a mold survivor. What I mean exactly is, in 2015, I had a mold-induced heart attack, a mild one, but still a heart attack. And I know it was caused by mold because I'd already been to a naturopathic clinic in Cleveland, hooked up to some great diagnostic machines, and she said, "Yep, you're full of mold." Now, I've been told I've been full of a lot of things in my life, but that's the first time I'd ever heard that. 2 weeks later, I had this heart attack. I went to the emergency room, and the 30-year-old emergency room doctor said mold doesn't cause heart attacks. I started to argue. She said, "Look," gave me the hand, "Look, I've been to medical school," as if that was the answer to everything, right? So I left. I walked out. It was the most scary thing I've ever done, even scarier than joining the Navy when I was 18 years old. Now, there's a lot of good websites out there, a lot of good podcasts out there with good medical information, how to figure out the science behind mold, how to know whether you've been toxed or not. That's not what we do on this podcast. This podcast is for people who know they've been toxed. And now what you're looking for is solutions. You want to know the best products, you want to know the best people, and you want to know the best services to buy to keep you vertical and above ground. So I walked out of that emergency room and I went back to the clinic in Toledo, and I spent a month in the clinic, not in a hotel room, but actually in the clinic. And that was because most hotel rooms are too toxic, too full of mold for me to stay in. But she did a lot of really interesting things there. Coffee colonics, that's where they put a tube up your butt. Rectal insufflation of ozone, that's a smaller tube, but it still goes up your butt. But also some things that did involve my rectum, which were things like hot cold tubs. Go from a 105-degree tub to a 55-degree tub. Jump back and forth a few times, it will change your life. Also infrared saunas, rebounders, the Celicizer little mini tramps that you bounce on. We're going to cover all these things in this podcast series. After that heart attack, though, I felt so stupid. You see, I've been publishing and podcasting about natural health, holistic health, all these good kind of topics since 1994. That's almost 30 years now. I was in pretty decent shape. I had a few bad habits here and there, but you know what? I really felt done. But I didn't really need to feel that way because 3 months after I had my heart attack, Dr. Mark Hyman, who I greatly respect, and who is the head of functional medicine at the Cleveland Clinic, he was taken down by mold 3 months after I was. And now when he talks about it, he talks about rectal insufflation of ozone and hot cold tubs and coffee enemas and coffee colonics. So he got woke, I guess would be the word to use. And now he's really improved his game. He really understands things. And you know, you should never feel stupid because you stayed in a toxic environment. But I'm going to give you some advice. These are my words of wisdom. These are the things that I've learned in the last 6 years since this all happened. And I think if you take them to heart, they can maybe help you get through it, just like it did for me. The first thing is toxins trump everything. Toxins will take you down so fast, and it doesn't matter what smoothies you drink, or what supplements you take, or what diet you're on, or what yoga you're doing. All of that helps, but it only slows the decline. You're still going to decline. So the first thing you got to do is you got to get out of the environment that is providing you with those toxins. If it's a moldy house, you have to remediate it or move. If it's a moldy workplace, you have to find another job. If it's your car, you got to sell it or throw it in the river, basically. It may not be useful to anybody else. You've got to get out of your environment first before you start working on your body. That's so important. I can't even emphasize that enough. One of the things you want to remember is lymph free or die. The little pun on the New Hampshire license plates, live free or die. But lymph free or die means you've got to keep your lymph system moving. That is the function of the body that gets those toxins out of your body. And you got to keep it moving. When I had that heart attack, I didn't have clogged arteries. I had a clogged lymph system putting pressure on my heart. And when I went to that clinic in Toledo, it was amazing the changes that my body went through in that month. That's probably a whole nother podcast we can talk about. Lymph free or die is just one of the things you got to remember. You now have to change your lifestyle dramatically. I mean, you may have already been fairly healthy. You may not have been very healthy. That'll take you down even quicker. But yeah, you want to eat the right foods. You want to take the right supplements. You want to do all of those things, do yoga. That's great for your lymph system. But you have to do it you have to be aware constantly of your environment. If you live east of the Mississippi, especially like I do, or many other places in the West, you have to be constantly aware of your environment. You have to get your sniffer ready to detect mold. You have to learn from your own body what are the things that happen to your body when you're toxed or when you're exposed to mold. For me, my visual acuity goes down and my light sensitivity goes up pretty quickly after I've been exposed. So when that happens, I know to get out of the environment I'm in and get started on some detoxing right away. So you got to pay attention to your environment and pay attention to your body, even more so than you may have ever been before. You got to remember to take baby steps, a little bit every day. You didn't get toxed overnight. You're not going to heal any quicker. So baby steps. Don't beat yourself up if you don't do everything perfectly or if you don't do it fast enough. Just do what you can. Be kind to yourself a little bit every day. And that's what's going to get you out of this. It took me probably 2 years before I felt normal again after the heart attack. You want to make sure you think for yourself. Blindly doing whatever your doctor says is the quickest way to a dirt nap. Dirt nap, that means dead. They just don't know anything. They'll think you've got some other disease. They'll treat you for different things. They'll call you, it's all in your head. You're not really sick. We can't find anything. There's no drugs to fix it. Well, guess what? In today's American medicine, if there isn't a drug to fix it, it ain't a real problem. But it is to you. So you pay attention to your body. You know it better than anybody else. You are the expert on your body. You know when something's out of whack. Your body knows when it's out of whack. Learn to listen to your body. Your body is much smarter than you are, believe me. Anything and everything can be fixed, it can be healed, and it can be detoxed. You just have to find the right tools to do the job. When I was in the Navy, I learned use all the tools in the toolbox, because if your only tool is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. And that's the problem with American medicine. Every problem just gets pharmaceuticals. That's the nail they're going to hammer it back in with. They're not going to treat the source or the cause or deal with the cause or help you get out of the situation or do anything that doesn't involve pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals, they're now calling them. I mean, if you can find a doctor that will talk to you about coffee colonics, that's the doctor you want to go to. This is really important. You need to be very mindful of your mental health. You're going to get depressed. You might be anxious. Bills are piling up. All these things are happening. But you know what? Negative emotions are not you. They're not attached to you. They're not yours. They're not your birthright. They're not you. They're just emotions. And you have the willpower whether you want to feel that emotion or not. It's not denial. It's not suppression. It's choice. Actually, becoming anxious about things is another trigger that I know I've been toxed somewhere along the line. If I start to feel anxiety, I know that's not me. I've worked very hard to clear those emotions out of my system and understand when I'm feeling them, I'm literally feeling something caused by mold. So pay attention to your mental health. It's really, really important. And along that line, and this is really difficult, you may find that you need to get rid of toxic people in your life. And these are people that may have been your support system, your family, your friends, your coworkers, but all of a sudden, they don't want to hear you talk about mold anymore. And they think you're crazy. And they say things to you like, well, your doctor can't find anything, so it must be all in your head. And I don't want to hear about it anymore. And they may start mocking you, and they may actually get downright abusive. You need to get rid of those people, get them out of your life. It may be painful, it may be difficult, but believe me when I tell you, you're going to be much healthier when you get the toxic people out of your life as well. There's some things that you can do that don't cost a lot of money or don't cost any money. Sunshine. Get out and find the solar noon where you are. There's an app called D-Minder, and it'll tell you when the best times to get sunshine and get that vitamin D into your system. That's really, really important. Clean, fresh air, clean, fresh air. It's sometimes difficult when you live in a city like Pittsburgh, but get out in the fresh air as much as you can. There's probably more toxins in the air in your house than even the smoggiest day outside in Pittsburgh. Clean water is very important. You get bottled water or get a really good filter for your system. Very important. Do not drink tap water, please. The pipes in Pittsburgh are 100 years old. That means there's bacteria strains in those pipes that are 100 years old. They've just been busy replacing all the lead pipes here in Pittsburgh over the last couple of years. So do not drink tap water, but get some good clean water. And exercise. Exercise is so important. The best thing you can do is walking. Just get out there and swing your arms because that's going to get your lymph system moving. Walking, yoga, anything where you're moving your body, and that'll create endorphins. That'll help with your mental health. These are all very, very important. Something you can do every day. There's things you can do every day. Those baby steps are so important. Sunshine, fresh air, clean water, and exercise are four of the most important. Now, there's something called the toxic load theory. It's not a theory for those of us who've been over the limit. Basically, you reach a point where your body just can't process toxins anymore. And any toxin will trigger you and cause problems. After the heart attack, I couldn't walk down the laundry detergent aisle at the grocery store because the smells of all those cleaners and toxic things that they have in them were just overwhelming. So you're going to have to learn to use other things like vinegar and tea tree oil that are so much less toxic. You're going to have to change your whole lifestyle. You're going to have to be paying attention to everything about where you've been, where you are, what's happening in your body. This all comes with understanding the toxic load. Toxins are everywhere. And again, they trump everything. So it's a constant vigil now, and this is going to be for the rest of your life, but you can do it. I've done it. I had to live in a tent in the backyard because I couldn't be in the house that we were in. You may have to as well. You've got to get out of that environment when you're in those kinds of environments. So that's my words of wisdom. Basically now you have two choices. You can make changes or you can make excuses. Which is it going to be? So stay alert, stay alive, stay healthy. I'm Sven Hosford. This is my podcast.